By the year 250 AD, the Maya world was on the brink of a great transformation. For centuries, their ancestors had lived in small farming villages, raising maize, beans, and cacao, and slowly learning how to build ceremonial centers. But now, that foundation would give rise to something far greater. Across the jungles of Mesoamerica, scattered villages began to grow into powerful city-states. Populations swelled, farmland spread further into the forests, and leaders claimed divine authority to rule. In these cities, religion and politics were inseparable. Kings were not just rulers, but sacred intermediaries between the gods and their people. Towering pyramids, plazas, and palaces reshaped the skyline, symbols of power meant to inspire awe. At their base, thousands gathered for rituals, festivals, and offerings, binding entire communities together in shared belief. This was the dawn of the classic age of the Maya, an era of ambition, creativity, and competition. The stage was set for centuries of brilliance, where mighty cities would rise, alliances would be forged and broken, and some of the greatest rulers of the ancient world would leave their mark. From this moment forward, the Maya world was no longer just surviving. It was reaching for greatness. As the classic age unfolded, the Maya world became a landscape of rising cities and rival powers. Among the most ambitious were Tikal, Calakmul, and Copán, each striving not only to survive, but to dominate. At the heart of these cities rose towering temples and sprawling plazas, their massive stone structures built to impress both the living and the gods. The construction of each pyramid, each palace, was a statement, a declaration of wealth, strength, and divine favor. These cities were no longer just places to live, they were stages upon which kings displayed their power. Rulers used art and architecture as weapons of prestige. Across the plazas, great stelae, tall stone monuments were raised. Carved with intricate glyphs and portraits, they told stories of royal bloodlines, military victories, and sacred rituals. Every stela was both history and propaganda, reminding subjects and rivals alike of who held authority. But with power came competition. As one city grew, another sought to outshine it. This rivalry between Maya city-states would shape their history for centuries, fueling wars, alliances, and betrayals. The world of the Maya was now a chessboard of kings and cities, each move bringing glory to some and ruin to others. From the shadows of rising cities came the first great rulers, legendary figures who shaped Maya history for generations to come. In Tikal, the dynasty traced its origin to Shuk, remembered as the founder who established the royal bloodline. His name carried both political weight and sacred meaning, for Maya kingship was never seen as ordinary. To rule was to embody the divine. Maya kings claimed descent from the gods themselves, their right to power written into both history and the heavens. Coronations were not mere ceremonies, they were sacred events, binding the ruler to the cosmic order and granting him authority over land, people, and ritual. Dynasties soon became the backbone of Maya politics. Power was passed from father to son, and each new ruler inherited not only the throne, but also the sacred duty to protect and expand the kingdom. Warfare was one path to glory, as victories brought captives, tribute, and prestige. Another was through marriage, as alliances between noble families knit the Maya world into a complex web of loyalties and rivalries. Through religion, warfare, and diplomacy, the first dynasties secured their place at the center of Maya life. With every generation, their power grew stronger, setting the stage for the dazzling centuries of classic Maya rule to come. In the classic Maya world, politics and religion were inseparable. Kings were not only rulers, they were sacred mediators between the human and divine. Every temple, plaza, and pyramid was designed to remind people that their leaders held the power of the gods themselves. Elaborate ceremonies became the stage where this sacred authority was displayed. Priests and rulers donned ornate costumes, masks, and headdresses, transforming into living embodiments of deities and ancestors. Through dance, chanting, and ritual offerings, they sought to maintain the cosmic balance that kept crops growing, rains falling, and the sun rising. But these ceremonies were not without sacrifice. Human blood was seen as the most powerful offering to the gods. Rulers performed ritual bloodletting, piercing their tongues or skin to draw sacred blood, proving their devotion and renewing the bond between the heavens and earth. In moments of great need, war, famine, or drought, captives were offered in sacrifice, their deaths believed to nourish the gods and ensure the survival of the people. The temples themselves stood as cosmic centers, towering stone mountains that connected the three realms of Maya belief: the underworld below, the human world on the surface, and the heavens above. By ascending these sacred stairways, rulers symbolically climbed closer to the gods, demonstrating their divine role for all to see. Religion was not just faith, it was the very foundation of Maya power, binding kings, gods, and people into one eternal order. While religion gave Maya rulers sacred power, it was their mastery of time that elevated them to near-mythic status. To the Maya, time was not simply a way to measure days, it was a living force, a cycle of creation and renewal that governed the destiny of both people and gods. Two great calendars guided their world. The 260-day ritual calendar, used to time ceremonies and divination, mapped the spiritual heartbeat of the cosmos. Alongside it, the 365-day solar calendar followed the rhythm of planting and harvest. Together, they formed the calendar round, a system so precise that it could track cycles thousands of years into the past and future. Maya astronomers, working atop temple observatories, gazed at the heavens with incredible accuracy. They charted the movements of Venus, predicted eclipses of the sun and moon, and aligned their pyramids with celestial events. For them, the sky was a divine script, and only those trained in its secrets could read it. Mathematics was the tool that made this mastery possible. The Maya were among the first in the world to develop the concept of zero, a breakthrough that allowed them to calculate vast spans of time and create records carved into stone. Through numbers and stars, the Maya bound heaven and earth together, proving that their kings and priests not only ruled the land, they ruled time itself. As the Maya mastered time and the cosmos, their earthly struggles grew more complex. By the 5th and 6th centuries, the landscape of Mesoamerica had transformed into a patchwork of powerful city-states, each seeking dominance. These kingdoms were never isolated. They lived and thrived in a world of shifting alliances, uneasy truces, and sudden betrayals. At the heart of this political chessboard stood Tikal and Calakmul, two titans locked in a rivalry that would shape Maya history for centuries. Both sought to control vital trade routes that carried jade, obsidian, cacao, and feathers across the lowlands. Their alliances spread like webs, drawing smaller cities into their orbits, some willingly, others by force. But war was more than a struggle for land. To the Maya, battle was sacred. Capturing an enemy ruler or noble was a triumph far greater than seizing territory. These captives were paraded through plazas, their fates sealed in ritual sacrifice meant to honor the gods and affirm the victor's divine right to rule. On towering stelae, kings proclaimed their victories in glyphs and images, ensuring that every conquest and every defeat was recorded for eternity. The wars of kings were not just about power, they were about cosmic order itself, where politics, religion, and destiny were forever entwined. While Tikal and Calakmul fought for supremacy in the lowlands, far to the south another jewel of the Maya world was rising, Copán. Nestled in the fertile valleys of present-day Honduras, Copán emerged as both a political stronghold and a center of unmatched creativity. Its story begins with Kainich Yaxcayuc, Mo, a warrior king whose name means Sunday-eyed Quetzalcoatl. Tradition tells us he came from outside the valley, perhaps linked to central Mexico, bringing with him both legitimacy and new ideas. From his reign onward, Copán's dynasty stretched across centuries, weaving together politics, art, and religion. Unlike the militaristic cities locked in constant rivalry, Copán's strength shone through its artistry. Stelae carved with exquisite detail lined its plazas, depicting kings with elaborate headdresses and sacred regalia. The hieroglyphic stairway, one of the most remarkable monuments in the Maya world, carried thousands of glyphs, telling the dynastic history of its rulers. But Copán was more than a gallery of stone. It became a vibrant hub of intellectual life, where scribes, astronomers, and artisans pushed Maya culture forward. Its rulers combined political power with spiritual authority, hosting rituals that reinforced their connection to the gods and the cosmos. Though smaller than the great northern capitals, Copán's brilliance lay in its fusion of politics and art, a city where stone itself became a canvas, preserving the genius of the southern Maya for eternity. By the dawn of the 7th century, the Maya world was anything but peaceful. Rivalries had intensified, and two superpowers, Tikal in the central lowlands and Calakmul farther north, rose to lead rival alliances. Their struggle would shape the destiny of nearly every city-state in Mesoamerica. Kings and queens turned their cities into stages of power. Towering pyramids reached higher into the sky, crowned with temples that proclaimed divine authority. Vast plazas filled with monuments carved in stone stelae that told stories of victories, royal lineages, and cosmic legitimacy. To stand before one was to be reminded of both human achievement and the gods who sanctioned it. As warfare escalated, politics grew more complex. Some cities allied with Tikal, others with Calakmul, while places like Copán navigated these currents with diplomacy and artistry. Every battle, every alliance, and every marriage between royal families reshaped the fragile balance of power. Yet even in this age of rivalry, creativity flourished. Astronomers refined their calendars, artists sculpted ever more intricate designs, and architects envisioned cities that seemed to mirror the heavens themselves. By around 600 AD, the Maya stood on the threshold of their golden age, a time when culture, science, and political ambition would reach dazzling new heights. The stage was set for centuries of brilliance, but also for conflicts that would determine the fate of entire kingdoms.